Kia ora everyone, and welcome to our foundation series. In this class, we're going to be taking a really slow and steady approach to finding our breath and connecting our breath to our core. We're going to be beginning on our backs. We don't need any props, just your mat. So whenever you're ready, just come to lay down. And so just giving yourself a little bit of space, stretching out, get the legs long, the arms up overhead, and just take a big full body stretch, feeling that length between your fingertips and your toes. And then slowly hugging your knees to your chest and just give yourselves a big squeeze. And perhaps rocking from side to side and just feeling the imprint of your body against the mat. And from here, we're going to take our feet down, hip width apart. And we're going to rest our hands on our belly. And so again, just taking some time to feel the back line of your body connect to the mat. Maybe drawing your chin to chest slightly and feeling that length from the crown of your head down past the shoulder blades, right down toward the tail. And right here, see if you can start to really broaden your back against the mat. So feel your shoulder blades spread. Notice your collarbones open. And just feel the weight of your hips and your pelvis being held by the mat. And with your hands resting on your belly, we're going to begin to notice the breath. So just seeing as you inhale, if you can feel your belly rise to meet your hands. Now, it doesn't have to be too intense, just allowing the breath to feel easy and effortless at this point. Inhaling, feeling belly rise to meet the hands. And then just exhaling, notice the belly drop away from the hands. Taking 3 more breaths just like this. Inhaling, belly expands to meet the hands. Exhale, notice the belly drop. And so here, as we inhale, we're softening our core. And as we exhale, we should feel a slight gentle engagement at the abdominals. 1 more breath. Inhaling, relaxing your belly. Exhaling, a gentle connection of your core. Really good. We're going to do a similar thing, but now take the heels of the hands to the outer ribs. So feeling the side of your rib cage here. Take your elbows nice and wide. And same thing, inhaling, but this time feeling your ribs expand out into your hands. Breathing into your side body. And as you exhale, almost encouraging the ribs to wrap a little closer with the heels of your hands pressing into them. Let's take a few more of these. Inhale, notice your ribs expand outward into your hands. And then wrap a little closer as you breathe out. 1 more time, breathing out into your ribs. And exhale, just noticing those ribs wrap a little closer. Really good. This time, take your hands down by your side. We're going to inhale and create a deep arch in the low back. So lift your low back up off of the floor. Feel your tailbone pressing down into the mat. And as you breathe out, see if you can flatten your low back into the floor and just feel your tail lift, a gentle tuck under at the pelvis. Inhale, press your tailbone down, feel that deep arch form in your low back. And then exhale, press the back into the floor, gently tuck the tail, feel that low belly engage. 1 more time, inhaling, arch the back. And then exhale, tucking the pelvis under. Okay, we're going to find a neutral position. So we're not tucking or tilting. Use those 2 end ranges to then find a halfway point in your body. And we've all got that natural arch in the low back. That's fine. Keep that there. We're not trying to force the low back down into the mat. We're just finding that beautiful neutral position. Okay, from here we're going to start to take our hands behind the head. Interlace your fingers, bring the thumbs down the back of the neck. And here, taking an inhale, then I'd like you to exhale and heavy your rib cage down into the mat. Again, we're keeping that nice sway, that gentle natural curve in the low back. But this feeling now of engaging your ribs down into the floor, starting to wake up our core muscles. Okay, keeping this exact shape with the spine, that engagement at the core, we're going to begin to march the legs. So bringing the right knee up over the right hip, and then slowly placing that right foot back down. Left side, just moving lovely and slowly. And doing your best as you start to march one leg at a time to keep both hips really steady. So just notice here if you're rocking from one hip to the other, and see if you can anchor your hips down. And as we start to march one leg at a time, beginning to notice the low abdominals. So even just taking your mind to your abdominals first, engaging the belly down toward the spine, and then start to carry the leg up to tabletop. So we're moving from our core as we start to move the legs. At the same time as that feeling of drawing the rib cage and the thoracic spine down into the mat. So the rib cage area of the spine, heavy that down into the floor. Good job. Just a few more of these. Lift the leg and drop, keeping the knees in line with your hips as you march. Final two, just like this, lifting and dropping. Keep the shoulder blades really broad. Last one. And down. We're going to bring our right leg to tabletop. Keep that knee over the hip. And we're going to begin to move the leg. So we're going to move with breath now. Inhaling, extend your leg out, keep it straight. And then as you breathe out, carry that leg back over the hip. Inhaling, let the leg go long. And exhale, lift the leg back up. Now just watching here that as you start to extend the leg long and low, you're not feeling a deep arch form in your back. So can you keep that same imprint of the pelvis and the spine against the mat the entire time? Breath is really important. That exhale is that natural contraction of our core. So as we breathe out, the core is engaging. Inhaling, belly expands. Exhale, we're contracting the core and using that natural contraction that our exhale offers to find a little more power to lift the leg. We'll take 3 more of these, and feel free to go a little lower if you can, but without compromising that posture. So just finding that little sweet spot. No deep arch forming in the back, pelvis steady, and the core working as opposed to the low back. Last one. And lift. Okay, straightening your leg this time, a little more advanced. Inhaling, straight leg lowers. Exhale, start to lift the leg back up. Now you can use your left leg here as well. So press your left foot down into the floor. You're driving through that left foot to carry the right leg back up. So using core, but also engaging through that left leg, glute, and hamstring. 3 more of these. Inhaling. Exhale, engage the core, then start to lift the leg. So breathing out, take the mind to the abdominals. Use that power from your center to lift the leg back up. 1 more time. Inhaling. And exhaling. Good work. Lower the right leg, lift the left leg to tabletop, and just readjust. See if you can continue to spread your shoulder blades down into the mat and heavy your rib cage into the floor. Keep that core on the entire time. Okay, inhale, lengthening the leg long. And then using your breath out, that core engagement, to start to carry the knee back over the hip. Inhaling, long leg. Exhale, push through the right foot as you carry the left leg back up. And the engagement through your standing foot will help keep your hips a little more stable as well. Inhaling, long leg. Exhale, pull the knee back up. Great work. So just being really mindful of how your low back is responding here. If we lower the leg so far that we start to disconnect from our core and feel any strain in the low back, then just make this movement smaller. Even a small diagonal line like so may be enough today. Just working within your limits is really important. Think about pushing that right foot down as you carry the left knee back up. We've got 3 more. And there's a sense of engagement between our inner thighs here as well. So can you feel just a gentle wrap between the inner legs as we move? Last one, inhaling. And exhaling, straightening the leg, a little more challenging. Just find a height with the leg that feels good for your core and your back. Inhale to lower. Exhale, push through the right foot as you carry the left leg back up. Nice job. Inhale. Exhale, breath, then carry the leg. So I like to think about breathing out just before I start moving. So exhaling, then start the movement. So breathing out before you begin to lift. And that way, once we start to breathe out, we've just got that connection through our core first to support the leg that's about to lift. 3 more. Inhaling. Exhale, push through the right foot, carry the left leg back up. Good job. Last 2. Just find that little edge where you're really challenging the core without compromising your back. Inhale. Exhale, last time, nice and controlled. And lift. Very good. Take both feet down to the floor. Feel free to take a little tuck and a tilt again at your pelvis and just re-establish your neutral position. Okay, with your hands behind your head, we're going to take an inhale. And I'd just like you to feel again the belly expand, the ribs expand. And as you exhale, notice that feeling of the core hugging back into center line. 3 more breaths like this. So you want to think about your belly and that breath expanding in a 360 way. Inhale, your belly rises up, out, and back into the mat. And as you breathe out, like a corset, it wraps in a 360 way around your spine. 1 more breath like that. So belly, ribs, and back expanding in a 360 way. As you breathe out, the ribs, the core are hugging around the spine. So we're going to feel that breath with our movement. Inhaling, belly's relaxing, everything's expanding. And then as you breathe out, start to curl yourselves forward. We do not need to lift too high to feel this. Inhaling, slowly peel back. And exhale, slowly curl forward. So you're really creating almost a hammock or a sling with your hands and your thumbs down the back of the neck. So relaxing your head into your hands. And watching that as you crunch, you're not jamming your chin down toward your chest. So keeping the same distance between chin and chest the entire time. Doing your best to move with your breath. But if that feels a little overwhelming or too complicated, then just let the breath awareness go and simply move. The breath does come with practice. Ideally here though, inhaling to lower, exhaling to wrap. So we're thinking about that exhale being the contraction of the core, And we're just using that natural contraction and taking it a step further by adding the crunch. As we start to curl forward, I would like you to think about the core wrapping in 3 zones. So just carry on with your breath. As you inhale, you're relaxing down. As you start your exhale, think first about the rib cage, the top of the rib cage starting to draw string together. Then down toward the 2nd or 3rd rib, so down into the free ribs. And then right down toward your hip points as well. So there's these 3 zones that we're trying to connect at the top of our crunch. So just bearing that in mind, as you start to crunch the 3 tiers of the core, the upper ribs, the lower ribs, and then right down to your hip points, like 2 drawstrings connecting to center line. We'll just take 3 more of these. Inhaling, exhaling, the 3 zones of the core. 1, 2, 3, right down to your low belly. Inhaling and exhaling. Lots to think about, but just do your best. The next time you're at the top of your crunch, we're going to hold and stay. Tiny little pulse, forward and forward. Can you visualize those ribs sliding together, or a corset tightening around the spine? Draw it in. Good work. Wrap into center line. We have 4 and 3. Last 2 and last 1. Really good. Relaxing back down. Take a breath. Let's take our arms out nice and wide and the knees wide for Supta Baddha Konasana, butterfly pose. So just taking your time to now soften your belly. Make way for a nice, effortless and easy breath. So a lot of our core work is mind to muscle. And the stronger this pathway becomes, the more we'll be able to get out of our core work. But just whenever we practice core, really listening to what your back is telling you as well. Core is very personal. So it's important that we just work within our limits. You can always rest sooner than my cues. Okay, when you're ready, bringing your legs back up, interlacing those hands again behind the head. And we've got 2 options now. We're going to return to that lower leg work. You're welcome to add the crunch, but if you're still working on that strength, feel free to keep your head down today and just work with that first round that we did earlier. Otherwise, inhaling here, and as we exhale, bring that knee over the hip to crunch. Inhaling gently down. Exhaling, curl yourself forward. So again, thinking about that rib cage, drawing into center line, wrapping from the back through the sides toward the belly button, the midline of our core. And just like we did with the lower leg lifts at the start of class, can you keep both hips really heavy? So we're avoiding rocking from one hip to the other as we start to lift the legs. Just 4 more of these. Low abdominals supporting the knee to lift. But we're also wrapping and crunching toward the knees at the same time. Keeping the pelvis steady and heavy and just watching that your tail isn't tucking as your knees lift. Okay, we're going to take that right leg up and then hold here. Hold the crunch if you can. Just like before, inhale, leg goes long. Exhale, pull the knee back up. Holding that crunch if you can. Inhale, leg long. Keep that hugging from the side of your waist toward the center line. 3 more of these. Inhaling. Exhale, push through the left leg as you carry the knee up. Slowly down. Slowly up. Good work. Last time. Inhale. Exhale, holding here. Extend your leg long and straight. Just 4 of these leg lowers. Taking it as low as you can to feel that core work without feeling the transfer into your back. So maybe it's just a small lower today. Exhale to carry the leg back up. Last two. Inhaling. Exhale, core on, lift the leg. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Good. Lower your leg, lower your head for a breath. And then exhale, calming back forward. Left leg is lifted. Holding the crunch if you can. We extend long. Breathing out, carry the knee over the hip. Good job. Really tough for the lower abdominals. We're using the weight of the legs to just create a little bit more feedback into the abdominals. And just noticing here, of course, how much the legs are really connected to the core muscles. Good work. 3 more. If you're in that crunch, watch that your chin is not down at the chest. You've got a little bit of space, and you're really relaxing your head into your hands. Last one. Building strength here. Straightening your leg long. Inhale. We've got 4 of these. Think about pushing through the right foot as you carry the left leg up. Nice job. These simple exercises really build. So if you're feeling your low back starting to tire, just rest a little sooner than my cues. Lift the leg one more time. Inhale down and exhale to lift. Very good. You're going to take your knees back out wide again. We've got one more crunch here on our backs. Keeping your hands behind your head, feet together, knees wide. So just feeling sort of the outer blades of your feet connect to the mat here. We're going to inhale, knees wide, elbows wide. As you breathe out, start to squeeze your inner thighs together and wrap your core forward. So we're really feeling this sense of connecting to the midline. Inhale, gently let the knees open. They don't have to come all the way to the floor. And then breathing out, hugging everything to the midline. So coming back to that feeling of the ribs closing, the ribs really wrapping tight. And then right down to those 2 hip points, like a drawstring tightening. But then can you feel that work feed down into the inner thighs? So you're working the deep core and the inner thighs together. Last 2 of these are really strong. Breathing out, curl yourself forward. And then the next time that you come forward, you're going to hold the crunch and just move the legs out, squeeze them in. Out, squeeze them in. Can you feel your belly wrapping and engaging and contracting as your legs squeeze? So feel that connection. We've got 8, in, 7, squeeze in. Good. Lower from the crunch if you need to. Just 4 more of these. 4, 3, last 2, and last 1. Very, very good. Lay down. You're going to extend your left leg long and hug your right knee to your chest. Release that grip of the belly for now. And just feel that compression in the right-hand side of your body. So the right hip, the lower right belly. Just take a moment here. Okay, we're going to release the low back by gently guiding the knee across the body. Low back twist. Scoot your left hip underneath your right, and then just start to peel the right arm open. Now you're welcome to rest your knee on a pillow if you cannot quite get it to the floor, but otherwise just let it hang in space. Just creating a little bit of space across your outer hip and into your low back. And in this twist, really noticing the 360 nature of our breath again. So can you breathe into your belly, your sides, and into your back. One more full breath. And then return to your back. Second side. Hugging the left knee in, right leg long, give it a good squeeze. And so really important with a strong and healthy core that we can both recruit those muscles and know when we need to, but equally know when we need to let them go and just soften our belly. So really working to give yourself permission to let the belly be soft and comfortable and free in these moments. Okay, carrying the knee across the body for your twist. Just peeling that left palm open. Just ease in. We do not need to have the knee on the ground or the left shoulder down. Just noticing the space between these points. And then using your breath to see what you can release. And so as you breathe in, scan the body. Notice where you may be holding tension. As you breathe out, see what you can release. One more breath, full inhale and exhale. Good work. Okay, we're going to make our way over to tabletop. One last exercise. So in your own way, feel free to just rock to one side or rock and roll yourselves up and down the length of the spine. Crossing the legs, coming over to tabletop. Okay, so spreading your hands wide, we're going to reset that pelvis. So inhaling, I'd just like you to lift your tail, arch your back like we did against the mat. And then exhale, tucking the pelvis under, scooping through the low abdominals. Just one more time here. Arch the back. Feel the belly release and stretch. And then as you exhale, notice that low belly engage as you tuck the tail under. So again, finding that neutral position between the two. And this is a really good way to check in with your body. So exaggerate those two end points and then find a halfway point in your body. Okay, spread your fingers super wide. So we want to feel every fingertip connect to the mat. Here as well, can you spread your shoulder blades across your back? So think about lifting your heart up between the shoulder blades. We're going to keep a sense of the rib cage lifting in toward the spine. So on our backs, we were thinking about the ribs heavying toward the mat. Exactly the same thing here, but we've just flipped it. So ribs into the back body. Hug that core while keeping a neutral pelvis. Right, with that in mind, we're going to start to move the leg. Right leg taps back behind us and then back in. Just like our core work earlier. Left leg, tap it behind. Bring the knee under. Now see how steady you can keep your hips as you start to move your leg. Continue to feel the rib cage or the deep core hugging up to meet the back body. And see if you can minimize any rocking or swaying at the hips and the pelvis. We're not on our wrists for too long. Just keep spreading those fingers wide and energizing the muscles of the hands. And keep your eye line along the front of your mat to keep the back of the neck long. If you're looking for a little more, rather than toes to floor, we'll take our legs straight behind us to hip height and then bring the leg back under. 3 more of these. Leg back, leg under. Imagine that there is a tray of drinks at your low back that you do not wish to spill. Keeping the low back super still, ribs lifted to back body. Nice work. We're going to take our right leg back behind us on the floor. Belly lifts up, and we're going to begin to move the leg up and down, just like we did on our backs. So can you keep the movement in your low back very minimal? Watch that as you lift your leg, you're not arching your back or dropping your ribs. So thinking here about that rib cage lifting into the back body, up and down. Just 3 more. There's an energy here between the crown of the head and the back leg. Long spine. Last 2. And last 1. Straight to the other side. Left leg back behind us. We're almost off of those wrists. The leg is lifting up and down. So it's not about the height of the leg. We're trying to feel the core work come first. So just notice when we're working from the core, perhaps the limitations on the height of the leg. So we're really not going in search of height, but instead we're going in search of length, energy through that back leg. Squeeze the glutes and the back of the hamstrings at the top while lifting the belly to the back body. Last 3. Last 2. And last 1. Child's pose. We're going to take our knees wide, our toes together, and just place your pinkies on the floor, your thumbs to the sky, and see if you can relax your head all the way down to the mat. And just slowly moving your hips from side to side. And see if you can drop your hips in the direction of the heels. And in this little cocoon or cave that you've created for your body, just start to feel your breath rise and fall, your belly expand between your thighs. See if you can turn off that grip or that hold on your core now. And just return to a soft and easy breath. Taking one last inhale. And exhale. Really good work. Start to slowly press yourselves back up. And we are done. Workout 1 complete. Please let me know if you have any questions. You can always comment below or get in touch with me via email. Take care.